She ain't got no money in the bank.
What is going on, guys? Jack here, and I'm back with episode 6 of West Ham Weekly. Before we get into this video, if you want to see or get involved in any of West Ham news or comment on this video, make sure you do go visit our friends over at Hammers Chat. Go check it out in the description down below and get involved in the discussion. If you are a West Ham fan, it's a great place to be, and it's a great discussion to have with all the other great West Ham fans on there. Here's a little preview of it now. Okay, well, now that's all sorted, let's get into the West Ham news that you may have missed during the week, and let's have a recap of it. So this one's going to be basically done around the fixtures of the Barclays Premier League that have just been released, and obviously the controversy of not getting a home game on the last day of the season in the BPL. It actually is an away game to Stoke. But without further ado, we're going to have a look at that fixtures. It'll be on the screen somewhere behind me. We're going to review them, and I'm going to say how many points I reckon we could get in that month and tally it up all by the end of the season, see how many points we could potentially get as a best case scenario maybe. So without further ado, let's get into the fixtures. And the first game of the season obviously is against Arsenal. In August we do have an away fixture against Arsenal, where it was the first game of the season. Like I said, we've got Leicester, Bournemouth and Liverpool, and I'll predict 7 points for them fixtures. I think we're going to have a good start to the season, in all honesty. I can see us getting points against Bournemouth and Leicester, and maybe even a draw against either Arsenal or Liverpool. I think that'll be a good start to the season. Then we move on to September. We do have Newcastle, City and Norwich. And I do predict maybe 4 points for that one. I believe we're going to probably get a draw against either Norwich or Newcastle, and then a win against both of them retrospectively. I don't think we'll get a victory against City at the Etihad so close to the start of the season. Moving on to October, we do have 3 away games and 1 home game. And obviously that 1 home game, unfortunately, is one against Chelsea. I can see us winning the game at Stadium Light against Sunderland, and also maybe picking up a point or win against Watford. I've gone for 4 points in that month also, so that'd be interesting to see. Palace, if they continue the season like they finished off last season, I will worry when we play against them, because they've looked very good, and I don't know, maybe we can get points against them, maybe not. We have to wait and see. Obviously we will have European fixtures, qualifiers congested into that, and it's going to be definitely very difficult to be getting wins, getting into a form. We have to have a full strength side, which we'll get onto transfer news in a bit. Moving on to November, we do have Everton at home, Tottenham away and West Brom at home, and we never beat Everton, and I think we'll struggle to get a result against Spurs at the Lane, so I've gone for 3 points. I reckon we can beat West Brom at the Bowling Ground, let's be honest with that one. Moving on to December, we have congested, probably the busiest month we have. We do have an away game against Manchester United, a home game against Stoke, an away game against Swansea, an away game against Villa, and a home game at Southampton. And I've gone out of them fixtures for 6 points. I reckon we'll get 1 win and maybe 3 draws. I can see us getting. I can see us drawing against Swansea, Villa, and Southampton, and getting a win against Stoke. That would be interesting. That would be very good to see. Then moving on to the new year, we do have Liverpool at home, Bournemouth away, Norwich away, and City at home. And I can see us getting 7 points, a whopping 7 points in that one. That would be awesome if we can get that. I reckon we'll get a win against Liverpool. I reckon, or we'll draw against Liverpool. We'll get a win against Bournemouth and Newcastle, and we'll probably either get defeated by Manchester City. 7 points again is a massive take to get from that month. Moving on to in February, we do take on Villa, the Saints away. Obviously, Villa is at home, Norwich away, and Sunderland at home. I think we're going to get a whopping 10 points from that one. I think we're going to beat Villa. We'll probably get a draw against the Saints, and we'll get a win against Norwich and Sunderland, in my honest opinion. And then we look to March, again, a very difficult month for us, as we are at home against Tottenham, away to Everton, which we never seem to beat. They're a massive bogey side, ain't they? Watford at home and Chelsea away. I can see us getting 4 points in that game. I think we'll probably beat the likes of Tottenham, but then we'll probably have a disappointing draw to someone like Watford, knowing West Ham United. Hopefully that isn't true, but we have to wait and see. Get into April, we do have, again, another congested month for fixtures. Palace at home, Arsenal at home, Leicester away, Manchester United at home, and West Brom away. I can see us getting probably about 6 points in this one. Again, 3 home fixtures, you'd probably expect us to get a bit more points, but I can see us picking up a victory against Palace and maybe a victory against West Brom. I want to say we can get probably a win against the likes of Leicester. I'm not too sure though. I think 6 points is probably fair. We don't know where them points are going to come from, but again, we best case scenario could probably get around probably about 9 to 10 points in that month if we really do get our heads down and perform. But we know what West Ham are like, and we know that Europe, we could still be in Europe at that time. You know, being optimistic, but we could. It definitely is a possibility. So we have to wait and see what happens there. Moving on to May, we do have our last ever game at Upton Park, and that is against Swansea, and then away game against Stoke. And I think we're going to get 6 points in them last 2 games. Again, very important fixtures for us, and that is the whole fixtures reviewed for me for the whole 2015-16 season. We will get a total of 57 points, I predicted. Again, this is not seeing any players we've got in. I'll probably will review it a little bit closer to the season again. But last season, if we would have got 57 points, that would have put us in 8th position. Now, would you guys take 8th place in the BPL again for next season? I certainly would. I think we can get over the I think we can get over midway, and I think we can get into the top half of the table if we get the right players in this season. And again, that would be awesome if we could, because it would be brilliant for the club and more money for us to spend for next season to become maybe a top 8 club. Like, so it could become, again, the BPL could become the top 8, and it's gone from the top 4 to the top 6. It become the top 8 because every single club just seems to be getting stronger and stronger, and I think the Saints and West Ham are going to be in that category maybe in the next couple of years, and if I'm being completely honest, guys. So 57 points, I'll be happy with that. Where do you think West Ham will finish next season? Do you think we'll be in a relegation battle, mid-table, or do you think we might be getting an optimistic top 8 finish? Let me know in the comment section down below, or join Hammer's chat on the forums and write in there in the discussion, because I'd really be interested to know your thoughts on this one, where West Ham could finish. We'll move on to the news now, guys. And West Ham have actually announced on today, as I'm recording Thursday, their new kit. And again, very interesting. As this video is live, the new kit should be out, but here's a mock-up that West Ham World have released, and I think it looks really nice. It kind of reminds me of the 2013, 2004, or the 2012, 2013. I can't remember the first season we was up in the BPL. That is the kit it reminds me of. It looks very nice. The collar reminds me of it very badly, but again, I think it's a very nice kit. What do you guys think of it? And if the kit is out now, let me know what you think. I'll probably be writing in the forums my thoughts on the kit as a reply to this video. But I'm very interested to see what that is now. But let's move on now to transfer news. Well, let's move on now to the transfer news. Again, it is transfer season, and West Ham linked with every single name under the sun. I picked out a few that maybe have a possibility of coming true and have some substance to them. So without further ado, let's get into transfers. And coming from West Ham Central, West Ham made a bid for Besiktas winner or Gorkan Tur. The Turkish winger has set the world alight at Besiktas. He's looked like a very good, pacey winger that can offer, you know, that direct attacking play. I'd love to see him at the club, and you know, saw him in European football last season. He looked like a massive threat and was lively. So I would not turn him down coming to the Barclays Premier League. He would definitely be a revelation coming here. He's very young and he has bags of potential. Moving on to another Besiktas player is Demba Ba, who wants to leave Besiktas and says that he does have interest in the BPL returning. The BPL does interest him, and West Ham are among a host of clubs that are interested in his signature. So again, that would be a very good sign for us. Demba Ba, we all know what he can do in the Barclays Premier League. A proven striker, but depends on what kind of money we can get him on. That is the question. Then moving on, West Ham are pursuing Alex Song. He was rumoured to be have a meeting with West Ham and had rumoured to agree personal terms, and is happy to return to the club for another. Well, happy to return to the club after last season on loan at West Ham United. The clubs are still yet to agree a fee for him, but I'll definitely be happy to see Alex Song return to the club. If he can mimic the form he had when he first joined us, that'd just be fantastic. But Barcelona value him around about £8 to £10 million. West Ham try and get a fee a little bit lower, maybe close to about £5 million. So we have to see if Barcelona will allow that one to happen. Hopefully they will, and hopefully we'll see Alex Song in claret and blue next season. Moving on, West Ham also want to bring Payet in. He's negotiating with Marseille over a contract. Season dropped from 65 grand a week to around about 42k per week. So we might have a big chance of getting him there. We have to wait and see. We've offered him around about 70 grand per week, more than what he was on his old contract at Marseille. So hopefully we get Dimitri Payet in. He's a very exciting talent, one of the most top assisters in the whole of Europe last season. So I'll be happy to see him come in to the Barclays Premier League, and definitely see him at West Ham. Again, competition for down in that centre attacking midfield role if Bilic does decide to play the 4-1-2-1-2 diamond. I'll be very happy to see Payet come into the club. He can also play on the wings also. So, again, he'd be a very good player to have in the wings and on the squad. West Ham also want to bring AS Monaco's Lucas Ocampos, the Argentine, on loan. Renowned as one of the most biggest talents future talents in League 1. I'd be happy to see him join the club. He's a winger also, and don't know too much about him. You know, he's been on loan a few times, I believe, from Monaco. So it'd be interesting to see how he actually does if he does come to the Barclays Premier League. He adds depth to the squad, which we definitely need in this pivotal season of our last game our last season at the Bowling Grand, and obviously one of the first time in Europe in many years for us. Moving on to West Ham transfers now. West Ham are favourites to land Charlie Austin from Queen's Park Rangers. The only problem is they don't want to match the £15 million fee that is the price tag on him at the moment at Queen's Park Rangers. We're trying to negotiate with Queen's Park Rangers for a lower fee, probably around about the 11 to 12 million pound mark, maybe even 10 million pounds. But I'd definitely be happy to see Charlie Austin come to the club. Again, 17 goals I believe he got last season also, which is just incredible. 15 goals. He wants to stay in London. He's got his own business and all that set up there, so I can't see him wanting to go anywhere else. He is rumoured to be in talks with Chelsea also, but again, I can't get my head around that when Falcao was literally just joined there. We're also in talks with Loic Remy, but Loic Remy's still there at the moment, so why would he ever want to go to Chelsea and sit on the bench and completely ruin his international career? I can't see it. I really can't. Also, moving on to Carl Jenkinson, he was rumoured to be going to Sunderland, but he will reject Sunderland and wait for West Ham to sign him. That's coming from a KUMB source, obviously needs up mother brand source. I'll be happy with that. Jenko had a fantastic season at West Ham last year, and I'll be over the moon if you would join us this season. West Ham are also readying a bid of a whopping 14.5 million for German youngster Antonio Rudiger, dubbed as the new Jerome Boateng, or the future Jerome Boateng. Again, I've heard a lot of good things about him. He's one of the most sort of talents in the Bundesliga, and he's a regular in the under-21 squad for Germany. Maybe, I don't know if he's made his actual senior debut for Germany, but he looks like a very good talent. He's physical, he's pacey, and he looks like a player that is kind of like Winston Reid, but has the potential to be better than Winston Reid. That's the only best way I can describe him. He looks like an awesome kind of player though. Moving on to West Ham United FC _ news, and that is that PSG are willing to let Johan Kabay leave the club for a reported 9.5 million. West Ham are among a host of clubs interested along the likes of Palace, I do believe, and some other clubs also. So, would you be happy to see Johan Kabay come in? 9.5 million is a big chunk of our wage budget, along with the 10 million for Charlie Austin, and maybe even around about the £8 million fee for Alex Song. Again, that's a lot of our transfer budget gone. But would you be happy to see Johan Kabay come in? Also, Dimitri Payet is around about 8 million also. So something's got to give in our transfer budget. I believe we only have around about 30 million to spend, maybe a little bit higher than that. So it'd be interesting to see what actually does happen with that one. Moving on, West Ham are still keen on Payet, who does also want to move to the BPL. It's been confirmed. So Payet wants to move to the BPL. So if his contract negotiations do break down with Marseille, it's all but certain he could be coming to West Ham United, which would be a really good deal for the Hammers if they can get that one done. Again, I admire Payet, and I really want him to be a West Ham player. West Ham are looking at Mainz striker Shinji Okazaki from the Bundesliga. Mainz had a really good season in the Bundesliga last year. Mainz is Okazaki is 29 years old, and he got 17 goals in all competitions last season. Again, he's a more experienced striker, but would you be happy to see him come into the club for maybe a cheaper fee to the likes of Charlie Austin, Loic Remy, and Demba Ba? Would you be happy to see that one come in? He could be around about maybe the £5 million mark, £4 million mark. With 17 goals in all competitions last season is not a bad shout at all for the Japanese striker. The last bit of news coming on is West Ham are also in the hunt for Croatian starlet Andrija Balic, who is dubbed to be the new Luka Modric. That'd be interesting to see. But anyway, guys, that is going to bring an end to this episode of West Ham Weekly. To get involved in the discussion or discuss anything West Ham, make sure you do go visit Hammers Chat. Link in the description down below. Like I said, there was advertised at the start of the video. Again, die-hard West Ham fans on there, so make sure you do go check it out. They're all great people over there, and always welcome you with open arms. So make sure you do go check that out if you want to get involved in the discussion at Hammers Chat. As always, I hope you have a really nice day. I'll catch you next week with our Hammers Weekly, and come on, you Irons.